So, the other day I walked into my friend's house and she was sitting on her couch puffing on a joint. I mean, no, marijuana is a dangerous, illegal drug. I meant she was sitting on her couch sipping on a glass of Merlot. That's a lot safer, for sure. Except that it's not. What if I were to tell you that alcohol kills 88,000 people per year in the U.S. alone? And what if I were to tell you that's 88,000 people more than marijuana kills? But as you've noticed, alcohol is perfectly legal, and marijuana is definitely not in most states. Why is that? Why is marijuana illegal? Why is it bad? There are many cases that can be presented on behalf of the legalization of marijuana, but I would like to focus on 3 key points. 1, clearing out our prisons and cleaning up our corrupt criminal justice system. 2, boosting the economy. And 3, medical advancement. Now, it's long been a myth that marijuana users are inherently violent or otherwise ill-mannered. But a survey conducted in New York by the Human Rights Watch found that of the 30,000 marijuana offenders surveyed, only 3.1% of them had committed a violent offense, and 90% of them never committed a subsequent felony. And the fact that marijuana is illegal in the U.S. furthers the racism against minorities in the criminal justice system. I guess I could start off by saying that the whole reason it's illegal in the first place was to further the racism against Mexicans, who at the time that it was made illegal were the primary marijuana users. In Iowa, the most discriminatory U.S. state, blacks are 8 times more likely to be convicted of marijuana offenses than whites, even though the consumption of marijuana by both races is about equal. The few states that have legalized marijuana have such small minority populations that it really hasn't affected them in any positive way that it's legalized. And there's so much space being used up in our U.S. prison systems by innocent marijuana users that could be used by actually violent criminals. 40% to be exact. 40% of the space in our U.S. prison systems is being occupied by marijuana users, when it could be occupied by real violent offenders. The second point that I would like to bring forth is boosting the economy. Enforcing marijuana laws is a very costly endeavor. In fact, it costs $15 billion per year just to house inmates that are convicted of marijuana offenses. And according to the ACLU, $20 billion per year just to enforce those laws, not including housing the prisoners. We could also tax marijuana legally by the government. Colorado's revenue is expected to exceed $140 million in 2016, just from taxation of marijuana. If California were to do this and tax marijuana at 25%, it would bring forth approximately $1 million per year. Now, the reason that this is the most important of all is medical advancement. I mean, definitely the prison systems are corrupt, and taxation of marijuana would benefit the economy greatly. But there are millions of people dying that could potentially be helped from marijuana. First and foremost, cancer. In rats and mice that have cancer, it is shown that adding marijuana to the existing radiation treatment actually helps the radiation treatment. And direct exposure to cannabis actually kills cancer cells, even in the most serious of brain tumors. Now, not just in cancer, but also in mental illness, marijuana could have great effects. It has been shown to reduce the effects of depression by increasing levels of endorphins and upping people's moods. It has also been shown to reduce the effects of anxiety because as everyone knows, marijuana is a relaxing drug. Now, it is also useful for other medical disorders, including multiple sclerosis and epilepsy. The NIH conducted a study in which they gave multiple sclerosis patients an equal amount of placebo and marijuana extract medications. It was found that the muscle stiffness of the patients given the extract was 2 times less than those that had given the placebo. And a very famous story is of Charlotte, a little Colorado girl with Dravet syndrome. She went from having 50 or more seizures per day to 2 to 3 seizures per month, just from adding marijuana to her existing seizure treatment. So these are the 3 reasons why I think marijuana should be legal. But I don't just come to you with statistics. I don't just come to you with numbers. I come to you with personal stories. I have a friend. I've known her for 5 years. And the entire time that I've known her, she's been an angry, anxiety-ridden mess of a human being, both physically and mentally. She was abused by her ex-husband, by her mother, and by her stepfather. She has been raped, she's been beaten, a number of different things. As a result, she suffers from PTSD, anxiety, and manic depression. After years of trying to help her, I watched her answer come to her in the form of medical marijuana. In just the past year that she's been self-medicating with marijuana, her relationships have all stabilized, her children are happier, she's a much better wife, mother, and friend. How is it that this plant is deemed dangerous and illegal and put up there with the top narcotics in our country? How is it that something that did such good can be considered so dangerous by our nation? It's time to realize that the only danger in marijuana is the fact that it's illegal. We're taking people away from their families, away from their homes, and away from their livelihoods for simply recreationally using marijuana. As Bill Murray said, I find it quite ironic that the most dangerous thing about smoking weed is getting caught with it.